Call the city council meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Germaini.
Present.
Lamore.
Present. Here.
Whitman. Icoangeli.
Present.
Vining. Mayor Clark.
Present. I'd ask we all please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
We have faith and hope in each other and our form of government. We ask for your guidance in the decisions that are made here, that we can continue to work together. We ask you to help us work for the welfare of this community and all of its residents.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk. Next item, please.
Item is approval of regular agenda.
See if there's any comments. If not, motion to approve the regular agenda.
Motion to approve the regular agenda, Your Honor.
Second. Motion by Councilman Felder, supported by Councilman Lamore to approve the regular agenda. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Germaini. Yes. Lamore.
Yes.
Felder.
Yes.
Whitman. Yes. Icoangeli. Yes. Vining. Yes. Mayor Clark.
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and for approval of payments to vendors, the amount should read $971,233.25, 971,233.25.
Thank you. Are there any items on the consent agenda that council wishes to have pulled for further discussion?
Your Honor, item 3314.
Any other items that council wishes to have pulled for further discussion from the consent agenda? Seeing none. Any items on the consent agenda, those present here this evening, wish to have pulled for further discussion? Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Your Honor.
Councilman Felder.
I'd make a motion that all items on the consent agenda not pulled for further discussion be accepted, placed on file, recommendations carried out, and resolutions adopted.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Felder, supported by Councilman Lamore, that all items on the consent agenda, except for those pulled for further discussion, be accepted, placed on file, recommendations carried out, and resolutions adopted. Clerk, please call the roll.
Germaini. Yes. Lamore.
Yes.
Felder.
Yes.
Whitman. Yes. Icoangeli.
Yes.
Vining. Yes. Mayor Clark.
Yes. Clerk, next item.
The next item is item 3314, award of bid, first floor security and ADA improvements at Monroe City Hall.
Thank you. Councilman Icoangeli.
Thanks, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the award of the contract to LaSalle Construction in the amount of $279,000 to be encumbered, $294 to be encumbered with the contingency, but then also accept the option, the alternate to include ballistic glass at an amount that was offered by the contractor in the amount of $28,475.
Second.
The motion by Councilman Icoangeli, supported by Councilman Felder, that on item 3314, the award bid for the first floor security and ADA improvements to Monroe City Hall include the base bid from the LaSalle Construction Services, the low bid, but also the alternate A1 of the $28,475 be included as well within the purchase amount.
Correct.
Any other comments, questions from council?
It's just unfortunate we have to do that, but
I agree.
protect our employees.
Thank you. We spoke briefly to it at the work session, and so the alternative was there. And I think of the investment we're not only making in our facility, but an investment we have with all of our employees, and then we make that a safe and secure environment. So, Clerk LeBlanc, I don't know if you have any comments to that. If not,
Just increasingly, just in the 8 years I've been here, there's been a definite shift. And while most residents and most people that come in are very respectful and there aren't any issues, we have had to engage with the Monroe Police Department a couple of times, especially recently. And I've heard more comments from employees at the front window, not just in my office, but a couple of others that have been a little anxious. So I just think, unfortunately, as you said, it's unfortunate we have to do this, but it is the way of the future. And we would hate to have a day when something happened and it was, while we have to be mindful of every dollar we spend. You know, I'm a taxpayer here in the city too. It all matters, but so does human life. And we wouldn't want to look back with regret. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Thank you, and I want to thank the administration and staff for presenting that as an alternative that's there as well for our consideration and discussion. So with that, clerk, there's a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Germaine? Yes. Lamore?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Whitman? Yes. Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining? Yes. Mayor Clark?
Yes. Next item, please.
The next item would be presentations, communications, and public hearings.
Mr. Pastu?
Thank you, Your Honor. As you know, last Thursday, City Council approved the appointment of Chad Tolstead as the Public Safety Director, along with the employment agreement. And tonight, Clerk Lavoie will administer the oath of office to Mr. Tolstead, or Director Tolstead, tonight before our audience. Thank you.
Clerk Treasurer Lavoie.
All right, I'm going to step forward and all right. Please raise your right hand. I, Chad Tolstead,
I, Chad Tolstead,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and abide by the Constitution of the United States of America.
that I will abide in, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That I will support
That I will support
and abide by the Constitution
by the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and
Michigan.
the Constitution of the State of Michigan.
I will faithfully obey
I will faithfully obey,
and enforce the laws of the United States of America
enforce the laws of the United States of America
and the State of Michigan.
and the State of Michigan.
I will enforce and uphold
I will enforce and uphold
the Charter and the Code of the City of Monroe.
the Charter and the Code of the City of Monroe.
And I will faithfully discharge
And I will faithfully discharge
the duties and responsibilities
the duties and responsibilities
of the Director of Public Safety
of the Director of Public Safety
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just have a few remarks. I should have listened to Clerk Lavoie when she told me, "Do you want to have a copy yourself and read from?" So, thank you, Clerk Lavoie, for administering the oath of office. I hold the position of clerk in high regard, but I hold the person that sits in the seat in even higher regard. Thank you. Honorable Mayor, City Council members, City Manager Vince Pastu, City Attorney Matt Buds, thank you for this appointment. I want to thank all those behind the scenes who also had a part in this. Human Resources, Peggy Howard, our Labor Attorney Jim Green, Assistant to the City Manager Mark Cochran, Communications Director Jody Egan, and all those others who were known and unknown to me that played a part in this. And I know there was a tremendous amount of work done by City Council to get us to this point today. And in addition to the City Council and to those of city government, I have many people I'd like to thank. A wise person once told me we're all standing on the shoulders of somebody else. That story is true for me. I would first like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for without his grace and mercy, I would not be standing here before you today. I'd like to thank my father, who was unable to make it today, and if they were able to figure out YouTube, him and his wife will be watching it from their home. But my father instilled in me a great work ethic and provided a home for me, educated me, and I'm forever appreciative of his love and support, and from his wife as well, that has supported me throughout my career. I would like to thank my past command officers, some are here tonight, for their investment into me. I'd like to publicly acknowledge Chief White of the Fire Department, who have had a working relationship for many years, which we share mutual respect for our professions and one another. I'd like to thank Scott Smiley, who's the president of the Monroe Fire Union, for being here tonight as well. His presence here and the presence of other firefighters here tonight is a good sign for things to come. I want to thank the members of the Monroe PD that have all come out tonight. Command President Kyler Dickerson, Captain J.D. Wall, our Union President Brian Wist-Jansen, and all those other members here that are lined up in the back. I appreciate your presence here tonight. I'd also like to thank Chief McCormick who was unable to be here tonight. He's at a championship game for his son, Charles V, U8. Go Charles. He has invested in me a lot. He has mentored me and has taught me a lot. And in the coming months here, I look forward to what more he can teach me, as his family has served the city of Monroe for over 70 years. I'd like to thank my pastor and his wife, Jim and Debbie Dawes, who are here with us tonight. Jim has taught me what it takes, what it takes to sacrifice and what leadership looks like, rubber on the road, what it takes to lead and what it costs. Jim has been more than a pastor to me. He's filled many roles in my life, provided love, support, guidance, and direction, and accountability and correction for many years, all for my benefit. For that, I'm truly grateful. I'd like to thank my wife and son who are here with us tonight. To my son, Owen. Owen's at home on break from college. He's studying to be a pastor in Indiana. He's our only child. And once in high school, he was asked by one of his teachers, "Owen, why did your parents not have any more kids?" And Owen jokingly responded, but very quickly responded, "They couldn't improve upon me." Why it was a joke on Owen's part? It's very true. He's a wonderful son, growing into be a wonderful man, and I look forward to see what life has in store for him. Thank you, Owen, for being here. To my beautiful wife, Jen, of 20 years. To be the spouse of a first responder comes with its own unique set of difficulties, and I would imagine being a spouse of a director will come with its own challenges as well. But she has kept me grounded. Just this past weekend, as we had a small discussion on something, she reminded me that I am a husband first and a director second. Thank you for keeping me grounded. I'm so blessed to have you in my life and have you by my side. I love you now more than the day I married you. I'd like to thank my in-laws here who also made the trip from Chicago. I appreciate them making the trip out here. They've been loving, supporting family members for many years. As I met and was interviewed by each city council member, I walked away knowing the importance that each one of you placed in the importance of this position and its effect on the direction of the Public Safety Department. This was not near a formality for any of you. It was not a box to check to say you met with me and approved of me. This was not an easier, softer way to avoid a tougher decision for a longer, drawn-out process. You came prepared with questions. You asked me questions and asked them until your concerns were relieved. Councilperson Felder held the record for a 2-hour and 45-minute interview. I was glad I cleared my schedule that morning. So after each meeting, it was confirmed to me how important public safety was to the city and to those you represent. I look forward to the coming weeks and months as we prepare to bring a new, experienced command staff in and looking to bring about a confident change to this program, to build unity, to serve our citizens better. So the task in front of us will not be accomplished by the simple appointment of a director. Where we're at today did not happen overnight and will not get better overnight. By my mere appointment, but not by my mere appointment, but we can make great strides ahead if we work together. For those who have been involved in the Public Safety Officer program from the beginning, even those who have joined later, know this has been a rocky road. Over the years, there's been pitfalls, setbacks, shortcomings with the program, which is not a reflection of the officers and the firefighters who served during that time, but rather a lack of a clear path for them. With the policies set forth by City Council, who placed trust in the city administration, and myself to establish a structure of command that will provide a stable platform from which police and fire operations can perform. The members of the Monroe Police Department and the Monroe Fire Department are professionals who have and will continue to serve the citizens at a high level, but we will want to reach higher. So as we begin to move forward, we must ask ourselves, what story do we want to tell? When each of us comes to the end of our career, what story will tell that I would have done better if not for, I would have done better if not for so-and-so, and I would have done better but not for? No, we will want to do better than that. That we will want to say we worked hard for the city of Monroe, that we worked with our fellow employees, even the ones we didn't see eye to eye with. We did our best to build something of worth and of lasting value. We worked with integrity, we worked with character, and we looked for the best in those around us, and we tried to bring that best in them. We served the city of Monroe well. That is a story each of us will want to tell. For the men and women of Monroe Police Department, we have changes ahead of us. So which story will we tell? To the citizens of Monroe, as a police department, we will continue to improve our community relations and work towards reduction in crime with cooperation of our citizens, ever evolving as a profession, building upon our stable platform. As a fire department, we will continue to provide fire protection and EMS services at a high level. You call us, we'll be there. Again, I want to thank the City Council for this appointment, and to those who supported me. Humbly, I say, the police profession and the fire profession are two of the most honorable professions on the face of this earth, and I'm truly honored to lead the men and women of the Monroe Public Safety Department. Thank you.
Well, I'll just start by saying thank you and congratulations, Director Tolstead. We won't take 2 hours, but we will take opportunity for council if they have any comments for you. Just congratulations, I think. Yeah, you, Kelly. Councilwoman Viney?
Congratulations, Director. I hope this is the beginning, like I said the other day, Thursday, of healing and reconciliation between the two departments. And I know you're up for the challenge, so not as a council person, but as a citizen as well, you have my support. So thank you.
Councilwoman Germaini?
Okay. Congratulations as well. I know you're going to create a path that people will be proud to follow. I'm very proud of you, and I know you're going to make all of us proud. Thank you.
Angela?
Chad, congratulations. And I just want to tell you, when we had coffee, you have my support, and I will do, as a councilman, whatever I can do in order to make public safety in Monroe better. So congratulations again. Well deserved.
Congratulations, Director Tolstead. You are the right man for this spot. I know that deep down in my heart. I've seen you in action over the years. I appreciate everything you've done for this community, and I know you're going to be a great member of this community that we can all be proud of. So thank you for that. And the other thing I know for a fact is that you have all of your department's backs, all of your employees' backs, and you're by far the perfect person for this job. Thank you again, and congratulations.
Councilwoman Whitman?
I would like to say congratulations, and I thoroughly enjoyed our interview, and I left there feeling confident and comfortable with you being in the position that you are in. We couldn't have picked anyone better to do what needs to be done, and you came with your own agenda. You know, you've worked it, you know what needs to be done, and I have faith. I have faith in you. Congratulations.
Councilman Felder?
I can't say I have that much for you. I think that we covered most of it in the interview already. But congratulations, Director Tolstead. Welcome to the job.
I'll just close by saying, Clerk LaVoy?
I just want to say that I know you are ready for the job. It's been obvious since the day you walked into my office prior to an election many years ago, and I said, this is what I'm worried about, and you said, let's sit down and talk. And I appreciated that, and you've remained the same person since then. But I'm also excited to see how police and fire come together, coalesce under you and the command staff and with each other to really protect and serve, continue to protect and serve the city, but really, hopefully, with a real coming together. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. So thank you for stepping into this role, and thank you to the police and fire that are here tonight and those not here tonight because they're working out on the streets. But thank you for everything that you do, all of you. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Well, before we move on to the agenda, I'll just kind of close this out. First, I want to thank everybody for being here and spending your time here with a very important day for Chad's family and our city. And as Councilman Viney said, last meeting, we had the opportunity last Thursday in a special meeting, had some thoughts and share some things. And as I said, that we have great employees here within the city, great employees that want to serve, and collectively we serve better than we do individually. And that really should blend through all of our departments, and I've seen that. And I think this is the opportunity that presents itself that we can even continue to serve in that capacity collectively. That's what we're here for, whether it be city council, all of our employees. It's about service, and it's about service to the community, and we do it better together as opposed to individually. So I just want to say congratulations again, Chad. We all wish you well and look forward as you move forward and as we start to form the command structure that has been discussed by council and of course with others, and that selection process to make a unified team to deliver for all of our residents and our visitors that show and come here as well. Thank you and congratulations again. Okay. Clerk Lavoie.
Next item. The next item will be under council action. I made my desk neat, so now I have to find it. Council action, item 3326. Proposed ordinance 21-010, amendment to retirement system for a voluntary early retirement incentive.
Yes, and I know there's many that are here, and obviously you have other things and family to share with Chad. We understand that those that need to depart for work and for other items, and as we move forward on item 3326. Mr. Pastu, is there any discussion points or any comments?
Your Honor, just, we talked about this last Thursday night. This would be the first reading of an ordinance to amend the retirement system for a voluntary early retirement that would be applicable to both police and fire chief, as well as the non-union personnel that were discussed last Thursday evening, and look to schedule the public hearing for November 1st.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we put proposed ordinance 21-010, the amendment to the retirement system for voluntary early retirement incentive on the floor for its first reading and establish Monday, November 1st, 2021 at 7:30 as the public hearing.
Yeah.
That was just a typo. It should read 6 o'clock for the hearing. Yes,
Okay.
that's the start time of our meeting. So if we could just adjust that.
I'll make that 6 o'clock.
With that amendment.
Thank you. There's a motion by Councilman Michelangelo, supported by Councilman Lamore on item 3326, proposed ordinance 21-010 as presented and discussed with the amendment to the time. No further comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Germaine?
Yes.
Lamore? Yes. Felder? Yes. Whitman?
Yes.
Echoangeli?
Yes.
Vining? Yes. Mayor Clark?
Yes.
All right, I'll go ahead with the first reading. Ordinance 21-010, Chapter 127, Retirement System Ordinance. An ordinance to amend Chapter 127, Retirement System Ordinance of the Code of the City of Monroe.
Thank you. Next item.
The next item is item 3327, discussion regarding pending blight abatement status.
Mr. Pastu or Mr. Buds?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Buds to take this.
Good evening, Your Honor and Council. As we've discussed in several other sessions, there are a number of properties that are subject to blight abatement actions, and I wanted to give you an update on each of those and see if there's proposed action for council to authorize me to take. The first is at 167 Richards. As you'll recall, this is a property with, I will say, abnormally tall grass and weeds in the backyard, such that it's over and above the fence line and causing a number of complaints from neighbors. I had conversation with the property owner or her representative about the issues that are there. She represents to me that her mother has passed and that she's living at the property and taking care of things. had further discussion with city administration, and we obtained a quote from one of our contractors that provides lawn and other services for the city. I will say that the quote came in lower than I think the city manager or I expected, at a $900 cost to take care of the problems in the backyard. I had a recent conversation again with the property representative. She indicated she was not willing to allow the city to come onto her property to engage in that activity, was unable to move the vehicles that are in the driveway that are causing an access issue for anybody to get back there and take care of that. Indicated that she would have the issues resolved in the next couple of weeks by taking care of them herself, and didn't really indicate any further interest in a resolution. So at this point, while reluctant and not excited about the possibility, I say that this is one that I would ask that the council authorize my office to proceed forward with litigation to resolve those issues.
Any questions or comments from council?
Your Honor, that's the only one.
No, there are others.
Let's keep going.
Your Honor, the next is 718 West 4th Street. This is a home that has, the only way I can describe it is what appears to be some combination of storage and some sort of business operation occurring in the driveway, along with a boat in the driveway as well, and just a variety of items there in the driveway and really in the front yard. I, again, had sent demand letter out previously to the ownership there, received a call from someone claiming to be their representative asking for 2 additional weeks, which we allowed at the last council meeting to see if there was going to be any further action. As you may recall, that's the one where they indicated that the people that were going to help clean that up were unable to do so because they had become incarcerated. I made an attempt to try to call them back again, and I have monitored that property with occasional passage by. And I will say nothing has changed. I would ask that the city council authorize court action on that matter as well. The next is 211 Winchester. That is a property that has had I'll say, variety of various personal property, many of which look to be plastic children's toys and things like that that are in a volume that I can't imagine are actually for personal use. It's a lot of volume there. It's been a property that we've had issues with in the past that has involved cleaning out of the porch on the front of the home as well for just a variety of items. We had hoped that there was going to be some action in terms of remedying that before this council meeting. Certified mail letter was received from my office. I received no response. I passed by this evening before this meeting, and I will say while there may have been some minor amount of progress, it's still a significant problem from my perspective, and I would ask the council to authorize action on that property as well. The only other that we have pending is 315 East 2nd Street. That's the one that council had authorized action on at the last meeting. That's pending with a complaint being drafted and filed by my office with Jean, who will take the lead on all of these from my office. And that's the update on the 4 properties, asking for action on those 3 listed to proceed forward.
What was the 4th address?
The fourth was 315 East 2nd. You've already authorized court action on that at a
What I
previous
thought.
meeting.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the city attorney to proceed with litigation against 167 Richards, 718 West 4th, 211 Winchester.
There's a motion by Councilman Nicolai, supported by Councilman Lamore, a motion to authorize city attorney to initiate litigation regarding the 3 properties mentioned regarding blight and other items related to not upkeep within the properties in violation of the ordinance. Councilman Nicolai, any
Council,
comment?
thank you, Your Honor. Just want to make it clear to the public that are watching on TV and those in the audience. This just didn't happen overnight. The city attorney, with direction from the city council, has been trying to work with these property owners for probably well over 6 months to get these issues cleaned up. So we don't take the action lightly, but we're at a point where we have to go to litigation at this point.
Other comments or questions? There's a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Germaine? Yes. Lamore?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Whitman?
Yes.
Ekwangeli?
Yes.
Vining?
Yes.
Mayor Clark?
Yes. Okay.
I have no further items this evening.
Council comments? Councilwoman Germaine, comments this evening?
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to publicly thank State Representative Joe Bellino for securing funds for holiday camp. This is a camp for adults and kid consumers with disabilities. This money will help enrich the camp that they go to every summer. A lot of people don't know what camp is. It's out on, North Custer Road. It's countywide. Anyone in the county can go. And it's a very good organization. So thank you, Joe Bellino, for getting that funding for us. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Councilman Lamore.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, I'd like to once again congratulate Director Tolstead on his assignment, and obviously wish him luck in all of his further endeavors with that. I'd like to thank Representative Bellino as well for securing the funds for holiday camp. It is a great thing for a lot of youth in the county and some in the city here, so thank you to him as well for that. DMBN, thank you for to the participating businesses as well on the Halloween decorations downtown. I think everything looks a little bit more nicer and ready for the Halloween season. So thank you to them and getting the businesses involved for that and the participation there. And lastly, do we have any updates with the DTE or Lazy Boy?
I have not. I'm sorry, there's no update where I've reached out to him just yet, so I'll get to it though.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilman Felder.
Thank you, sir. I think it's been mentioned several times already, but I think it's worth continuing to mention. The city has an increasingly aggressive strategy on multiple fronts as we move forward on several different issues, and this requires a great deal of time from staff and increasingly ourselves as well. And as we begin to form new committees to look into areas that have previously gone neglected, like the Trails Committee, like the Tree Committee, we also look to the community to step up and take part and have a role in determining the outcome in their own hometown and community. So if you're interested in serving on one of the committees that was suggested tonight, specifically the Tree Advisory Commission, I certainly encourage you to step forward. There is a multitude of opportunities if you're willing to get involved in the city for you to participate. Make your intentions known and someone will find something for you to do, I promise. Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Whitman.
It's been a wonderful evening, and I have no comments.
Okay, very good. Councilman Michelangelo?
Yeah, thanks, Your Honor. I'm not a big user of Facebook, but on a couple of occasions recently, I've seen some stories that have popped up on my phone, and I've looked at them, and they're regarding Monroe. And I won't get into any particulars, but there's just a lot of misinformation out there about things that the city is doing. Okay, and then when I overlay that on the fact that we really don't, and I don't want to be too negative about it, but I think we are all aware that the Monroe Evening News just doesn't provide the coverage on a lot of community issues that it used to. I mean, we're now kind of we're a shared newspaper with the city of Adrian and Lenawee County. I really think it's time that in our upcoming budget that the city put money into the budget to at least do, I would like to see it twice a year, but at least once a year, a community newsletter that we can get out telling people what we're doing, the projects that we've done, and then share with them stories about what other agencies that have been working in partnership that are doing with the city. So we start getting some correct information out there. You know, I'll just say this. I came across a post that was very negative about the battlefield. And people were very sarcastic about the money that has been spent on the visitor center. And someone made the comment, geez, they did that for 30 people that visited there last year. Well, I'm really sorry, but the battlefield last year had an attendance of almost 300,000 people. And the last time I looked on the stats, the NPS stats, they were from like 45 states and a half a dozen international countries. The problem is, people in the city, in the greater Monroe area, don't have a recognition for what some of these things are doing and are contributing it to the local economy. And it's all negative. So I think with the lack of a local newspaper that's providing this type of coverage, that I think it's incumbent upon the city to have a community newsletter that we share this kind of information with. And not only with us, the stuff that we're doing, but our partners like the Community Foundation, MCOP, the Opportunity Center, things that are happening in town. I think we need to really be more of an advocate for ourselves than relying on other people to communicate what's going on in town. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Viney.
Thank you, Your Honor. No comments this evening.
Very well. Just a couple comments kind of fall back on. I had a note here, and I'm going to follow up with Councilman Felder on appointments. People hear me often as I sit here as the mayor, and also with the council's support of recommendations, asking people for the opportunities in which they are to serve. The council mentioned that the discussion starting forward regarding the Tree Advisory Commission, and we're in just the starts of that, but that will be something. The Trail Advisory Committee is starting up. We'll have a meeting later this month and start talking about how we connect and be connective, not only within the city, but with the trails with the county. There's an excellent meeting with the county Community Foundation as well as others. Mr. Pastu was there, and just talking about how do we make not only our own community, but how we connect to the region when we talk about trails and opportunities and quality of life, what that means. So I'll say it because at the first of the year, there's always the opportunities. And while many don't understand the number of appointments that are made each year, there'll probably be 60 appointments come the first of the year that'll be open, available for appointments or reappointments. And the list is long, and it's on our website, but if you want to give me a call, I'll be glad to review those. While there may be vacancies on some, and some are about appointments and whether there's reappointments. And I always look for new people willing to serve on committees and commissions. Second, I neglected to raise this last meeting, and I know that it's been talked about, but with October is Hispanic Heritage Month. And one of the items that came forward that I saw was through the Monroe County Community College, and it's the MCCC happenings. Just two people that are highlighted. I think it's worthy of noting, and also hopefully those here or those watching will be able to join in and learn about these two members and what's done in our community. Of course, the first is Nancy Wayne, was Nancy Garcia is her maiden name, but there's actually going to be a presentation on Thursday, October 21st. It's a Zoom meeting. You can go to the community college website, and it talks about her life and her growing in her younger years, but also how she come to be. Of course, she is our executive director of the Monroe Housing Commission and works very closely with the city and the residents and those in need of that supportive housing and tenants. So that was one that was listed within the community college's page that was put out. The other is Damaris Sargent, and Damaris he came from outside the city, but he's joined the Monroe County Community College as a new student success navigators. It's called retention and completion specialist. While he's a native of Muskegon and he has siblings, he's now within our community and helping our young students and others and how to get to know new students and how they adjust to college life. There's much within his job description, but I think if you want the additional, just please contact or go see the community college website, learn about these two great members of our community and the work they do. There was one other thing, but I didn't write it down, so I guess I'll let it pass. Clerk Treasurer Lavoy.
I have no comments this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Pastu. I have none, Your Honor. Okay. This time, citizens' comments. Any comments of those present here this evening? Any comments from those present? Name, address, please, or jurisdiction of residence.
Davis, Monroe Charter Township over on the Pleasance Road. First, I just wanted to thank everybody that attended the NAACP Candidate Forum. I thought it was a great event, and it allowed us to get some insight and, just to get to know the candidates a little bit more. Second thing I wanted to say was congratulations to now Director Tolstead. I've got to say that in the last almost 2 years now, we've done about 40 to 50 events here in the city of Monroe, and he's always my number one contact. And I have to tell you that if there were more police officers like him all over our country, the world would be a much better place. He really is a man of character, and I appreciate everything that he's done, and I congratulate him again. And then, as you guys know, earlier this year, Nat Spur and Julie Dye, two Native Americans from federally recognized Potawatomi tribes here in Michigan, spoke virtually at some of the Monroe City Council meetings about the Custer Monument. And last week, the National Congress of American Indians, which is the oldest and largest Native American organization in the country, met for its 78th annual convention. And it was attended by delegates from all 12 Michigan federally recognized tribes, but it was also attended by Vice President Kamala Harris and 5 President Biden's cabinet secretaries, and Michigan's own Brian Newland, who's the new Assistant Secretary of the Interior and head of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and a member of the Bay Mills Indian community. Secretary Highland spoke to the convention about very much looking forward to working with Chuck Sams, who will become the first Native American director of the National Park Service. And he is a member of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and his confirmation hearing with the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee is actually tomorrow morning. The resolution was passed. And we know how important that the battlefield is. The education pieces, like you were mentioning, how many people come from all over. There's going to be 2 Native Americans that are going to be working with the Assistant Secretary Newland. And last Monday, Dr. Aaron Payment, the tribal chairman of the Sault Ste. Marie Chippewa Indians, also here in Michigan, he's also the vice president of the NCAI. He actually introduced the resolution to the delegation. And it's the framework of the resolution that's unanimously passed by the United Tribes of Michigan in May that we passed for the Custer statue here in Monroe. So we're just calling on the end to the Custer memorials. And I just want to thank you for your time and hope you guys can consider the quality of life for residents here in Monroe and anybody that passes here. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments from those? Yes. Name, address, please.
So, name is Colbean, 48162, City of Monroe. I don't know why I said it this time. First, I want to thank you for 2 weeks ago when I was nominated to the Trails Advisory Committee. I'm very excited to work on that. I'm sorry I could not make it. I was not feeling well. So, as Katie Beth stated, I want to read some of the resolution that was passed because the National Congress of American Indians are obviously not everyone's able to come here and tell you how they feel themselves. So here it goes. They said, whereas we, the members of the National Congress of American Indians of the United States, invoking the divine blessing of the Creator upon our efforts and purposes in order to preserve ourselves and our descendants, the inherent sovereign rights of our Indian nations, rights secured under the Indian treaties and agreements with the United States, and all other rights and benefits to which we are entitled under the laws and Constitution of the United States, to enlighten the public towards a better understanding of Indian people, to preserve Indian culture, values, and otherwise promote the health, safety, and well-being of Indian people, do hereby establish to submit the following resolution. And whereas the National Congress of American Indians was established in 1944 and is the oldest and largest national organization of American Indian and Alaska Native tribal governments. And whereas many places in the U.S. host public memorials that celebrate George Armstrong Custer, which include but are not limited to monuments, statues, place and institutional names, forest, park names, educational materials, landmarks, buildings, street signs, plaques, parks, and none of these places were named with regard to tribal nations' concerns. And whereas Custer, notoriously known as the Indian Killer, is widely perceived as offensive and painful public reminder of the genocide of indigenous peoples and present realities of systemic racism in our country. And whereas Custer led the massacre of the Washita River of the Cheyenne chief Black Kettle and his band of Tsistas, and was responsible for numerous other atrocities and crimes against humanity. And before the ink was dry on the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty protecting the Black Hills, he deliberately publicized the gold which was present in the region. And Custer desecrated Bear Butte by riding up the holy mountain brandishing a sword after he was told all weapons were to be left at the bottom of Bear Butte, a sacred place to the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Sioux peoples, among others who share culture and history there. And whereas Custer amassed 726 demerits at West Point Military Academy and was court-martialed twice in his military career, and whereas Custer was court-martialed for leaving part of his regiment at Fort Wallace without permission, forcing his men to march on private businesses, commanding his officers to shoot 3 deserters without trial, and refusing medical treatment for one of his men, resulting in his death. And whereas Custer was found guilty of 5 charges and suspended for a year without pay, and was demoted from the rank of general and denied as a lieutenant colonel, and whereas for a decade, 1866 to 1876, Custer violated treaties forged in the sacred trust between the United States government and tribal nations, defied orders, and led ruthless attacks on compliant tribal nations involving raping, torturing, murdering innocent Native women and children. Custer personally directed the shooting of 640 ponies at the Washita River, where survivors said that they only heard the screams of men, women, and children and horses throughout the night. And I will end there because I'm sure I'm near my time.
You're over your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cole. Other comments from those present here this evening? Name and address, please.
Cody Crutchfield of South Macomb Street in Monroe, Michigan. I'd like to finish the second half of the resolution, which was SAC 21003 by the NCAI. See, whereas Custer undermined the freedoms gained for African Americans after the Civil War by campaigning with Andrew Johnson against the 14th Amendment, which gave former enslaved people national citizenship, and whereas Custer expressed sympathy to the Ku Klux Klan and contempt for their enforcement of their suppression under the Ku Klux Klan Act during his employment in Kentucky from 1871 to 73. And whereas decades of research show that racist policies, symbols, and behaviors are linked with lower well-being, educational barriers, physical health, employment, problems such as higher job turnover for people who endure racism and ethnocentrism, like many American Indians and Alaska Natives, and whereas by a 1990 act of Congress signed into law by President George H.W. Bush, the name of Custer was eliminated from the battlefield designation, and its new name was established as the Little Bighorn National Battlefield Monument and Indian Memorial. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the National Congress of American Indians, NCAI, affirms that the public memorials that celebrate George Armstrong Custer express and reinforce racism and ethnocentrism. The public memorials celebrating Custer are harmful to American Indians and Alaskan Natives, AIs and ANs, and ending public memorials celebrating Custer will decrease the harm to AIs and ANs associated with those memorials and decrease AI and AN racism. And be it further resolved that NCAI calls for the removal of Custer memorials and urges the United States Congress, federal agencies, task forces, and their partners, organizations, to identify and remove public memorials that celebrate Custer, and be it finally resolved that this resolution shall be the policy of NCAI until it is withdrawn or modified by subsequent resolution. This was passed at the October 11th to 14th annual conference with quorum present. Given this resolution by the NCAI, I ask you members of Monroe City Council to take action. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Other comments from those present here this evening? Name and address, please.
Your Honor, my name is Richard Micka. I am a resident of the city of Monroe. There is a movement in this country to delegitimize our heritage. It is a counterculture movement. Its goal is a cultural attenuation. When it comes to their recognizance, they are nearly invisible, and the only way they can raise awareness is to assault a well-known historical figure or heritage asset. This raises awareness of their objectives at the cost of someone else's expense, living or dead. They just don't care as long as it brings them publicity. That is what they have done here with Custer. His name is well known, and the Custer story still generates interest a century and a half later. Those who would invoke his name to benefit their cause are usurpers to the nth degree. Their efforts do not deserve acclamation or appeasement. They are fraught with hypocrisy and deceit. Cultural attenuation only leads to dire consequences, and it should not be condoned.
Other comments from those present here this evening? See no other comments. I know that we have a closed executive sessions next.
Your Honor, make a motion that we go into closed executive session for the purpose of labor negotiations.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Moore, supported by Councilwoman Vining, to the council go into a closed executive session regarding labor negotiations. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilperson Germaine? Lamore?
Yes.
Felder?
Yes.
Whitman? Michaelangeli? Vining? Mayor Clark?
Yes.